It pains me to say this. Pains me! But I actually agree with a lot of what Vegas Dave had to say about the sports card market being unsustainable. Let's analyze this video. What's going on? Bowman 1951 here. As many of you've seen, Vegas Dave has stirred up a lot of controversy once again with his latest video regarding the sports card market, Gary V, it being unsustainable long term. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of like view parts of it, analyze it, and give some takeaways on it. I'm going to skip over a lot of the silly, stupid beef that's in the beginning about Gary V. Nobody cares about that. I understand it's your theater. I get it. I think a man acting this brash and douchey in his 40s is not becoming on anyone. So don't try this at home. Don't be like Vegas Dave people. Anyway, let's take a look at our first piece of the video.
And a lot of you people in the sports card industry are saying, I'm going with Gary. Gary hasn't been wrong yet. Let me remind you, not only has Gary been wrong, every entrepreneur has been wrong.
Dude, what are you talking about?
And Gary's going to be wrong on sports cards too. And here's another issue I have with Gary that I don't agree with. He's predicting the 86 Fleer Jordan is going to hit $1 million. He's wrong. It's going to go for over $1 million, 1.2, even more.
So his semantics about the Jordan card have to be super specific, Dave? Come on. I'm sure he meant it's going to be $1 million plus in the future.
And all you sheep in the industry are going to get excited because you think the market's exploding.
You're both right. Calm down.
So this Vegas Dave versus Gary V issue came upon because I made a simple post on social media. The market will fall apart by the end of 2024, just like the subprime mortgage industry did. Within minutes of that post, big auction houses, big dealers, big investors asked me to take the post down. Why? Because they agreed with me, the market's going to crash, but they said it's booming right now and they want to make as much money as possible.
Let me guess, one auction house reached out to him. Let's just put it this way. If there's a 25% downturn in the sports card market, which is fairly inevitable at some point, the auction houses are going to be making a boatload of money regardless. I'm not buying this one bit.
Michael Jordan's 86 Fleer rookie, 30 grand, 40 grand for years. The last dance happens, jumps to 100 grand. That makes sense.
Is anyone else annoyed by his air quotes throughout the entire video? I know I am.
The reason why this market's going to crash is from overly inflated prices on certain cards. Let me give you an example. The Michael Jordan rookie, the Steph Curry rookie. Steph Curry National Treasure rookie was $20,000, $30,000 2 years ago. He didn't even play last year, and his card just sold for $980,000. Does that sound right to you?
All right, Dave. You got my attention. You're really starting to make sense. Go on.
Traditionally, if someone bought a $100,000 card, that would be the real actual value of the card.
Well, they are real card prices.
See, when the pandemic hit last year, the stock market started to fluctuate. And at that same time, people from the stock market industry now saw the card industry not only as a hobby, but an opportunity to make money. So they had to diversify their portfolio. So you started seeing real big money coming from the stock market into the card industry.
This is a proven fact with actual funds being started up to gobble up the biggest cards in the market. He's definitely onto something here.
You would think all this big money and new money coming from the stock industry into the card industry was a great thing. But what you don't know is that these individuals brought over their same stock market mentality and practices, which is going to end up crushing the market.
Yep, 100% agree.
See, what's going on now in the industry is that certain people are buying big ticket cards and selling percentages and shares of that card to individuals in the market. Now, a person that could never afford a $100,000 card can now own a piece or a share of that card and feel like they're a part of history. And this, what I'm explaining to you right now, has never happened in the market before until the last few months.
All right, so he's actually a bit off base here. These startups do a great job at funding the cards at their current prices. The Jordan that's on there at 100K was set up back in October, so they didn't overshoot at the time and go for, say, 300,000. They knew the market just a few months ago and set it correctly.
For example, if I buy a $100,000 card, I would sell 25 shares of it at $10,000 a piece to people around the world. Just like that, the card goes from 100,000 to 250,000 and I make money.
These shareholders would have to take it to vote for a $250,000 buyout. And in the meantime, those shareholders could have already sold off a piece or all of their holdings. He's not right about this at all. Let's move on.
Remember the Michael Jordan card that just sold for $738,000? The Jordan card was 30, 40,000 for years. Bumped up to 100 grand from the Last Dance. I understand that because the Last Dance influenced a lot of people to get back in the industry and collect Jordan cards. But then it went from 150, 200, 250,000, all the way up to $730,000 within 2 weeks. How is that possible?
How did the Jordan hit $750,000? Pop reports, bro. Come on. There are just 315 copies in the entire world in a PSA Gem Mint 10 of the Jordan rookie. With so many eyes on such big cards in the industry, it only makes sense that it is finally getting its due and jumping like crazy based on the very, very low pop count. With only 315 of them in the entire world, there are going to be a lot of bidding wars for these particular cards.
You still think these values are real? Curry's card was $30,000 to $40,000 for years as National Treasure rookie. He didn't even play last year. Comes back this season. We're not even 2 weeks in the season, and his card sells for $980,000. Does that sound real to you?
Look, I'm not going to go back a few years on Curry prices. He could be right about that. He could be completely off base. I don't know, but when he's putting up like close to 60 points in a game here and there this season, people are going to quickly forget that he was hurt all last season and didn't really play.
Here's the issue. When one of these individuals from the small part of this card community decides to pull out, they made enough money, guess what? Once one pulls out, another one's going to pull out. It's going to be a domino effect. When all these investors pull out, these overly inflated prices of $1 million cards will go right back down to under $100,000. You'll get stuck holding the bag, and the sports card industry will be crushed.
Frankly, I disagree. Card prices are not tanking 90%. Maybe Curry, if he has a horrible end to his career and we never hear from him again, a la Derrick Rose. But you know this is never, ever, ever happening to Michael Jordan cards.
With all these cards being sold at all these record prices every week and every month, it's become an ego war now with people with money. Who can one up the other? Who can get this card? Who can pay for that card? So they're already boosting card prices that are overly inflated in the first place.
Yep.
These new investors with big money are treating cards like a commodity that is going to continue to go up with inflation. But they had never been around to see the ups and downs of the sports card market. They haven't experienced cards losing value and dropping in prices.
He's right here for the most part. If you're over the age of 40, you likely saw the downturn happen in like the 1993-94 eras.
Now, I know a lot of you are going to tell me that you saw in person cards at your local sports card shows sell for $4,000 or $5,000 that were once $400 or $500 that you saw with your own eyes. So you have to believe these sales are real. Yes, those transactions are real, but what you're missing is what's going behind closed doors, that the whole market's inflated all the way from the top, so it's bringing all these card prices from the bottom all the way up to mid-level to high-tier prices. Again, the whole community is affected by the people at the top, that small community selling shares of cards, inflating the market.
He's like half right here. The bottom half, the bottom tier of the cards are certainly exploding at too fast of a rate. But the shares part, I am just not following what he's trying to say here.
How can you tell me that a Kobe Bryant rookie just sold for $500,000 this week and it was never over $100,000, even at the pinnacle of his legacy when he passed away? How does that make any sense?
Okay, you're right. It should not have taken a year for Kobe's cards to take off.
How can you tell me that a Mahomes rookie is really worth $800,000 plus when it took over a decade before Brady's rookies hit over $800,000? That makes absolutely no sense. A guy that's been playing 2 years is going to surpass prices of Tom Brady, who's the GOAT? That makes no sense at all.
This might be a statement that I agree with the most. Mahomes' prices are definitely out of whack. However, there are now 7-figure cards of Tom Brady up on eBay. After Mahomes lost in the Super Bowl, short term, the prices are bound to take a hit, no doubt.
And one final card that I have personal experience with, Fernando Tatis, the dumbest investment in baseball. You're telling me a Fernando Tatis rookie, red refractor out of 5, sold for $250,000. I bought my Mike Trout red 3 years ago for $180,000. How can you tell me Fernando Tatis, who played one season during a pandemic, 60 games, how it's worth more than the Mike Trout red refractor that I bought 3 years ago? Tatis, $250,000? How does that make any sense? Wake up, people. These are all artificially inflated prices. Wake up.
You'd have to make that argument for every single card out there. People believe in Fernando Tatis Jr. And guess what? That's okay.
And with this big surge in the market, you now see athletes, celebrities, big-time influencers getting involved in the market and the industry. All this does is just add credibility to the sports card market. An average person that looks up to a celebrity and see that celebrity buying cards, that average person is going to follow lead and jump in the sports card market.
He's right again. Few people out there busting packs that maybe cost $20, $30 each are not collectors at all. It is a glorified lottery ticket. Opening packs is always going to be negative EV in the long term. Don't do it.
And right now, all sports are being affected by this trickle-down effect. Now you're seeing people invest in all types of sports. Tennis, golf, even Pokemon. Pokemon is garbage. That's the worst investment you can make.
Who knows how the Pokemon market will shake out? I wouldn't be buying at the top of this market, just like I wouldn't be buying borderline cards at the top of the market in sports cards. However, there are many YouTube channels out there that have been tracking for years the prices of the Charizards and unopened like first editions, and they have seen a very considerable return on their investment.
Remember, nothing lasts forever. This is not going to destroy the US economy, but it will destroy the sports card industry and it will destroy the hobby because the trust is all gone.
Good cautionary tale here, especially if you didn't get in like pre-2018 to sports cards. If you are brand new this month, I would tread very, very lightly and be careful.
Now, after hearing all of this, any of you guys have any second thoughts? Who do you believe now?
I don't think anybody's lying here, but I do think that anybody that's got money tied up considerable amounts is either becoming blind or numb to these crazy prices all of a sudden. I don't want to lie to you. I continually pound the drum that 99.999% of every sports card ever made is basically worthless. What do you do with all those vet-based comments? You either give them away to some kids or you throw them in the trash. That is a fact.
And also, stickers. This is a Michael Jordan rookie sticker. This is going for $55,000 right now. This was a couple $1,000s for years. You know what I think about this? This is what I think about this. And this is what's going to happen to the sports card market. It's going to burn, and...
Oh God, what is he doing?
Let me be clear. I want this market to flourish. No other big investor, no big auction house is going to tell you the truth. Only I am. These are the same individuals that are destroying the market and lying to you. I'm the one telling you the truth, and I only want to do this so I can protect the market.
If you think there's a lot of doom and gloom coming, what exactly are you protecting people from?
I'm going to be the first one to tell you the market's going to collapse by the end of 2024.
I think the timing of 2024 is really what rubs me the wrong way. He brings zero, nada analytical data to the table to talk about why he thinks it's exactly 3 years from now.
So mark my words, the sports card industry will collapse by end of 2024.
But that's also a lot of time for people to continuously make money. Will the Jordan rookie be $3 million at that point? $5 million? Who knows? Why not ride it up for the next couple years if you think it's going to crash 3 years down the road and not maybe 6 months from now?
A lot of you people in the industry are saying, I'm not going to listen to a guy who predicted the Saints to win the Super Bowl. Let me just remind you, who's Gary's team? Let me get it out of the garbage can. The New York Jets. Enough said.
Okay then, sure buddy. Somebody that believed in Derek Carr to take the Raiders to the promised land that haven't done so in about 40 years. All right, so for my recap, I agreed with a lot of what Dave said, but he missed the mark on a bunch of it as well. Especially fractional investing that has not caused a ripple in card prices yet. Some sites have sold a couple cards for double the price, but the card market is so big that fractional investing is paltry in comparison to how many cards fly off the eBay shelves day in and day out. I'll give Dave one good thing. He's very passionate about the sports card market, and for good reason. I personally just wish the card prices would follow basic economic principles and not shoot up 300% in 6 months. Something is out of whack. Something doesn't make sense, and there will be people hurt in the long run. Whether it's 2021, 2024, 2034, there is a market correction coming down the road. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear your comments down below. Do you agree with anything that Dave says, or is he just super douche and he misses the mark on just about everything he talks about? I still like to say that I agree with his passion. If it's a gut feeling for him, that's cool. He's not like a numbers guy. Good apparently at sports bets, and he's good at buying Mike Trout. Other than that, I wouldn't call him any kind of special genius or savant. Thanks so much for coming along while we reviewed Vegas Dave's sports card inevitable crash of 2024, his video that caused so much controversy this past week. We will see you at the next video. Bowman 1951 out.